Okay, good morning guys.
Morning, sir.
Have you all completed that assignment?
Yes, sir.
Completed. Everyone is completed. Okay, later I will be check that. Yesterday, what are the things we have covered? What are the things?
Prototype in functions.
Inheritance using prototypes and prototypes in functions.
Functions, sir.
Okay, what is the main difference between object and functions in prototype?
Object is the environment entities.
Okay.
Function is like
In the prototype, while accessing the prototype in object and in the function, what is the difference between them? Accessing the prototype in the object and array and the functions, what is the difference between them? Three of them.
In object and array we use underscore photo.
Okay.
In functions we use that.
Okay, why we need to use prototype? That I said how to access the prototype, not how to access the prototype. You are saying how to access the prototype. I am asking what is the difference between the prototypes in the object and the function? Hmm? If I am accessing the object, what is the return type of object? I have a set of value in that object. Okay, I am going to access that value. Then what is the return type?
Native code.
Hmm?
Native.
native.
Native code. The prototype understand or not? Prototype concept for everyone. Okay, if I am going to create the prototype here, means what will be happen? Here what will be the output?
It will show all the methods in the object.
Objects and method.
We define the prototype.
That what are the methods?
What are the things?
It will show all the methods that are available in that.
Object. Anyone?
Predefined functions.
Okay, here if what are the things inside that object, predefined methods and function that will be shown here. Okay, if I need to access these values, what will be comes? Okay, in that object it shows that what are the things inside that that is showing. Okay, for the function what is the output? Okay, for the function what is the output?
Maybe
Hmm?
84.
Function it returns the object and the constructor. Inside the constructor what are the things we write inside, that will be written. Why it going to return the native code? While accessing that function keyword it returns the native code. Okay, while accessing the object or array it gives the what are the constructed inside, that will be written. Okay, but I am going to access that function keyword, it will be written that native code. Okay, okay, and here I am accessing the prototype of an example function. Okay, in that example function what are the things contained means that constructor and the prototype of a function. Okay, okay, see, while I am declaring that function, it going to create a one constructor. Okay, my function assume as a constructor. Okay, and after that what are the things going to happen, all of them are inside that code. Okay, while I am declaring that function means I am going to access means it consider as a object. Inside the object two things, one is a prototype object and another one is a constructor. Okay, the constructor means that function, my function only. What are the things I written in the function, that all the things are comes here. Okay, arguments, callers, and what it's going to execute, all the things are comes here. And inside the object and that predefined prototypes methods. Okay, predefined constructor methods. Okay, that all comes in the object. Now understand, while I am accessing that object value, it gives the methods, but I am going to access that function means it gives the constructor and also that methods. Okay, prototype methods. Okay, and what are the things we see? Inheritance.
Sir, arrays also will get only methods. Sir.
Hmm?
If you are accessing arrays, then also
Yeah.
you only get methods.
Yeah. Okay, fetch API. We have been seeing fetch API. What is the use of fetch API?
To retrieve data from the LBFS.
Okay, if I have one API link, okay, I have a API endpoint, I'm going to need to access that. Okay, by using fetch, I can be able to access the data. But inside that API, I have need to declare that it is a method. Which method that API belongs to? Okay, what are the methods in HTTP used? Get, put, post, delete, then patch. Okay, patch, get, post, delete, patch, put. Okay, 5 methods. Okay, what is the use of get? Hmm? Fetching the data. Actually, in the fetch API, in fetch API, okay, fetch of function, it's actually created to fetch the data only. Okay, initially it's going to fetch the data only, but after the ECMAScript 6, it's going to execute multiple methods. Okay, like put, edit, what are the methods are inside the HTTP method, it's going to execute them. But for that we need to declare which method is API belongs to. I need to declare that. Previously we are using the fetch method for what? In which concepts we are using fetch? In the promises. Okay, by using the fetch only we execute the promises. Okay, in most of times for the data retrieval promises, all of them belongs to the fetch API only. Okay, here. Okay, it is a client and the server request. I need to send the request, means I send my request by using the fetch API only in the JavaScript. Okay, in that other languages while I am using the Node.js, okay, if I am going to use that Node.js, I have a one connection request. Okay, in the Node.js I have a connection request and connection URL and the port number. If I am going to use in a local, okay, by using the local port number, I can be able to send the data and retrieve the data. Okay, for that, for I am going to use that external database or external server, means I need a domain name and the API endpoint. Okay, domain name and the API endpoint. By using the domain name, I access the domain. Inside that, I need to access the endpoint. End of the service I need going to access, means I need follow that endpoint. Okay, here see. See here, this is a one get method. This API is a get API. Okay, here this is a domain name and this is a endpoint test. This is visible. See, dummyjson.com is the domain name. Okay, I'm going in the domain name. I'm going to access test. Okay, sometimes it gives the data. Sometimes it gives like what is the status code and the method is. Okay. It is a get method and status code is okay. It's ready to get the data. If I am going to use that in that application, means it will be what? See, if just return type is a method and the status code only. Okay, there is a no data inside that. If I write like instance belongs to previous, Okay, here means it's fetch the data from that API. Okay, here same like that we are showing that in the UI by using the promises. Okay. This is a normal get method, and the default fetch by using default we just execute the get method only. If I need to execute that how to say, if I need to execute the put method, delete method means we will be see. Here. See here, I have a data, user data, okay. Inside the async function, I have a user data, okay. I need to send it to the API by using the post API. I am going to create a new data, okay. For that, I need to specify that that method is post and that header also, okay. And inside that body, I am going to send the data by using stringify. Why we need to send the data by using stringify? Stringify the data.
Because it is in object JSON
Ah.
format.
Because this data is in object format, we need to send the data in the string format to the database. Okay. For that reason, we are using the JSON stringify. Okay. After that, after posting that data, it will be give that response. Okay. That response is stored in the response data and stored in the UI. This data is not a valid data. Okay, for that get or put or delete, we just send like this. In this code, see inside the fetch. Okay, all of them are contained inside the fetch only. Okay, all the data like methods and that header and the body. What is the need of the adding the header means I just sending sending to the server own information. Okay, this content type is the application JSON. Okay, this content type is this content type is belongs to JSON type. Okay, that type of things I need to send in the header. In another one thing is also there, authentication token. Okay. Why we need to give the authentication? What is the use of authentication? If I am going to fetch the data, what is the use of authentication?
Make sure unauthorized access is limited.
Yeah, to avoid that unauthorized access. Okay. How the database note this guy is unauthorized? By using authentication code. Okay. Okay, just assume that on application. In that application, I need a authorization code. Okay. How we get that? How we find this person is authorized or not in the application?
Validate with database.
Initially, person will sign up and it saves in the database. After signing in, it will fix whether the person is.
Okay. See, while I am sign up, I am going to create a one entity for my data. Okay. If I am logging in, I can be able to log in the data. if I need to, okay, after I log in, I need to call some APIs. That API need the authorization. How it will be check that? Inside that application, there are many APIs. Okay, in each API, I need to send. I am authorized person. I am authorized person. How it will be understand that?
The keys.
Hmm?
The
What keys?
keys. Keys.
Keys. No, everything is not using key. Key only. No? Okay, that is a key only. One type of key. Okay, but not that is said as key. That is token. Okay, while this user is logging, okay, by the login API, we are creating one authorization token. Okay, I need to send that token inside that authorization header. Okay, then only I can be able to access the data. Okay, for the each API, I need to send the auth token. Okay, when it is generated means while the user is logging, while the user enter to the session, that authorization token is getter. Okay, what do you mean by session management? What is session management? Okay, what is session?
Time period.
Hmm?
Particular time period.
Particular time period that user use that application, that is a session. Okay, if the user login, okay, if the user is logged in, the user used that application for a half an hour. Okay, after that he forgot to log out that application. What will be happen?
Session expired.
How it's explained?
Time.
How it's find the time? Hmm? How the session expiry is happening?
If there is no response to that, for some time they will be.
Okay, I'm going to watch in that LMS, like learning platform. Okay, I'm going to watch. I just played that video for an hour. Okay, for a 2 hour video, I'm going to play. Okay, my screen time also like that. While video playing, not it's not closing. Okay, I didn't touch that screen. I didn't call any API in that application. How do we find that video is how to say, how the server is find that user is in session or session out? Someone said we give the time period. Okay, for that that is some type of applications, like I am going to edit on data like Canva. Okay, in the Canva I am going to edit means I am edit, while I am editing my session is expired means I didn't save the data. Okay, what will be execute? My all the data were lost. Okay, it will be log out me. Okay, from that application it log out. Okay, for that type of a things in the front end only, in the back end also we can be handle the session management, and the front end also we can be handle the session management by the auth token. Okay, by while generating the auth token, it have some specific time period like 1 hour, 2 hour, or 3 hour, or 30 minutes, like some specific period that auth token is valid. Okay, if the user is interact in the application, user is seeing in that like user screen is on. Okay, like by capturing that type of a event, window event, I can be able to refresh my session token. Okay, like my session expiry time is 50 minutes. Okay, 50 minutes. In that, like 45 minutes I need to check that. After the 45 minutes, within the 5 minutes any interaction happening in that application, I refresh that session data. Okay, I refresh the session token. Okay, after that allow user to use that application. Okay, another one is Okay, what is the difference between put and delete? Sorry, what is the difference between post and put?
Post means new data.
Hmm?
Post means for new data.
Hmm.
And put means updating the
Existing data. Okay. And then okay. If I am, I have called that API. Okay, I need to cancel that API call. Okay, by if I am going to execute any async function, it will be automatically called that API. Okay, in that time, API it takes time to 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, in that time I don't need to call that API. Means how do I cancel? In the promise, while executing the async function, it going to call that API. Okay, I don't need to call that API. Okay, I just inside that, if I click here, okay, if I click that Copilot means it's going to call that API. Okay, just assume like that. I don't like to call that API. I just need to close that. I accidentally call that. I need to cancel that means how we can cancel. For capturing event, how will be execute in HTML? For capturing event, in the HTML, I need to capture one click means how I execute that. Hmm? Hmm? I need to capture one event in a HTML page. Okay, how I? Hmm?
mouse clicks, events are
Yeah, by using DOM manipulation, I capture that event. Okay, I capture that event by using event listener. Okay, by using the event listener, I capture that event. After that, by DOM manipulation, I manipulate the data. Okay, here same like that. Here is a one controller. Okay, that is a predefined constructor in the JavaScript. Okay. Here there is a predefined function, that is a abort controller. Abort means cancel the data. Okay, same like that. I am going to create a one object for the abort controller. Inside that abort controller, I am giving that signal. Okay, just cancel that fetch. It going to cancel that fetch where it is happening. Okay, if I have two things. Okay, while I am clicking that button, it's going to call that API. That time it's going to show that loader icon. Okay, after that loader icon showing in the UI, I have been added that another one function cancel. Same like if I going to apply that how to say, if I am going to order any food items in that food applications, okay, there is an option to cancel. Okay, if I am same like assume like promise. Okay, in the promise, okay, in the promise, if the data is available, I will be give to you after some times. In the food app, if the food is ready, I will be give to you. Okay, same like that. If in the meantime, while I is fetching that, collecting the data, if I can be able to cancel the data by using abort controller. Okay, here the signal means that is a inbuilt function, inbuilt method in the abort controller. So, See, in that abort signal, I need to call that abort signal. Okay, after I need to call that abort signal, make it true. Okay, I need to make that abort signal true. Then that fetch calling is going to cancel. Okay, if it is a true or false, it is going to execute. That's it. Here this signal is false, the API fetching won't happen. Okay, if here the signal is true means it's going to fetch the data. That's it. Okay, initially this data is like a false only, because here the abort controller means we are going to cancel the data. Okay, we are going to cancel the data means that if it is false means it's going to execute. If here it is true, okay, the abort controller is true means it's going to cancel the data. That's it. If I send like calling the data. See here the aborted is true. Okay. See that aborted signal is true only. One second. Here it is true. See here only, okay. Inside that after I abort that request, after I abort that fetch request, it's showing like aborted is true, okay. Before it is false. That's it. If I need to abort that fetching execution, I just send that it to false, okay.
Sir,
What is the use of means? Here there is a two types, okay. Okay, without calling means I just comment this time also. Okay, here it's like going to call that API example. This is not a correct API, no. Okay, this is a dummy API only. Actually, this is a mock API, not a dummy API also. Okay, here if the error name is aborted error means like if user manually abort the data means it's showing like fetch data aborted by the user. Okay. This is also like exception handling only. For that error also we can be able to handle. Here there is another one thing also we can be added. If it is a real error means fetch the error from that API. Okay. By the promises it fetch that error by the API and showing here. If it is a user error, like we are going to use that async function. There is a try and catch. Okay, if the error is happened by the user side, then it will be show that error by in the our side also. That error also we can be able to capture. Here, see that actual error is a type error. Okay, type error means what is the type error in API fetching? Types and method are the same. Then what is the type error? What is method in fetching? In the fetch of what is method? Okay, in the HTTP what is method? Yeah, correct to me say. In the HTTP, what is method? get, put, delete, post, that things is a method. Okay, here it type is different. Actually, it's maybe a put, it's maybe a get, or it may be a delete. Okay, here we are trying to fetch the data by using get method. Okay, by using fetch, its default it's going to fetch the data only. Okay, it's maybe a put or delete, anything else. Okay, for that type of a things it shows the type error. Okay, if I am going to abort this, okay, okay, if I am going to abort this data, what will be happen means it shows the user data only, user error only it's thrown. Okay, it abort by the user only. And inside that abort controller also there are many inbuilt functions. Okay, we can be see by okay, see there is a abort function and then signal, and there is a get signal also. Okay, that get signal also calling that signal only, that also one constructor only. Okay, that's it. Then Axios. Okay, okay, for I have a lot of APIs in that my application. Okay, like in the application like 10 or 20 APIs in that one application, single application. Okay, here in the one API, login API only, I won't need the authorization token. Okay, in other APIs, in 19 APIs, I need a auth token. Okay, for that each data, I need to send need to write same thing. Same thing. I need to send that same thing, but I won't need to write the same thing. Okay, by using Axios. Okay, Axios. Okay, by using Axios, we can be able to send the data. Okay, we able to capture that barrier token, the authentication token automatically. Okay, okay, by using the Axios, it allows that interceptors. What is meant by interceptor? That's the intermediate connection between that API. Okay, just to collect that auth token, and we can be able to send the data by using that interceptor. Just add that we need to add that data only, like dot instance, like that. Okay, if I am going to fetch the data means I just added these things. Okay, I just added these things in the interceptor and call that interceptor to give that values. Okay. Okay. What is the use of Axios? It just to collect that auth token. Okay. And another one thing is while using the interceptor means we can be able to fetch that errors status code. What is the use of status code? What is status code in that response?
Maintaining the initial live or
What maintaining the status code? No. Okay, if I am going to call anything, call any API, it gives some status code. Okay, what is the use of that?
If you made any errors, it will shows how to.
Okay, the status code is like that is a response code. Okay, if my response is okay means it gives the 200 error, 200 status code. Okay, if the error is from the backend side, okay, server side, okay, it gives that 400 like that, or sir 500 like that. Okay, 500 error is belongs to the server error. Okay, client side error is a 400. Like if I am accessing that wrong API means 404. That is a not found. What is meant by 401? 401 means unauthorized. That is a session expiry. Okay. If I have one account, okay, I logged in my system. You also logged in that system. Means for me, for the initial user, it gives the 401. Okay, the session is expiry for my side. Okay, and then 403 means four not 3, 402, 402, 222.
Bad request.
Okay, if I am going to send the data, okay, in the backend there have some schema. Okay, there have some syntax of data. Need to fetch the data in that format only to maintain the database concurrency. Okay, to maintain the database, they need to fetch the data in the some syntax, that is schema validation. Okay, that time the data need to validate. Okay, before posting the data, before like putting the data in that back database, it's going to validate the data. Okay, for that thing we can, like if I'm going to send that image file, instead of sending that PDF file, I'm going to send that image file means it gives that 422 error. That is a, which one this is? 422 means unprocessable data. Okay, that is a validation error. That's it. Okay. And then, okay, what is the main use of status code in the application? Application level, what is the main use of the status code?
Choose the result for access fetching APIs, what the result is.
That can be fulfilled by using the promise also. Promise also same thing is happening. Promise is just going to execute. If the data is fulfilled, it's going to show the data. If the data is error, showing any error, whatever error it shows that error only. What is the specific use of status code? See, is anyone see that pages like that application is crashed, your data is unprocessable, like the 422 status code, it's showing in the UI. That is called error boundary. Okay, if I type wrong URL means, okay, I type wrong things. The actual thing is that this is my GitHub ID, but I type wrongly means it shows the 404. Okay, that URL is a wrong thing. Okay, that's why it's showing the 404. Okay, if that user is unauthorized means if I am using the data, okay, if I am going to use that application, okay, in that application while I am using, I got the unauthorized error. How I can be found that without showing that any information in UI? Okay, just log out the user session means that is a not user friendly thing. Okay, if I am going to type anything in the Canva, it going to log out me. My user session is expired. You like that it's going to log out me. This is not a correct thing. Okay, for that type of errors. Okay, 401, 403 and 404. Okay, 500 error. Okay, for that type of errors, we can be use that status code. By interceptors, we can be capture that status code. Okay, in normal promises, it can't be capture that status code. In normal promises, it's capture the error only. Okay, by using the interceptor, we can be capture the status code. By the status code, we can be show that this type of error boundaries. Okay. Okay, can you understand? Error boundaries. And then okay, that's it. Okay. In the JavaScript, if I am declaring that value, okay, okay, I declared some value. Okay, after declare that, I didn't use that means what is the use of declaring that variable? Okay, just I am declaring some variable. Okay, I just initializing some variable. What will be happen? It's going to allocate the space in the memory. Okay, in the memory it's going to allocate some bytes. Okay, if I am declaring the const means it's have some value, it's going to allocate that value. Okay, I allocate this value. Okay, after that I didn't touch that value. Okay, I didn't call that value, I didn't use that value in my code. Okay, what will be happen for the allocated memory? Waste of memory. Okay, like have you seen that malloc and that free of in C? Have you seen that? Malloc means is going to allocate the memory, and free of means which memory is allocated by using malloc, we can be free of the data. Have you know about basic C? In that C, by using malloc, we are going to allocate the memory for the variable or array, anything else. Okay. Okay. After allocate that memory, if I need to free up the data means I can be able to use it by free of. Okay. The two things in C. But that is for the low level languages. Okay. For the JavaScript, that is quite different. Okay. Like while we are allocating the data, it going to allocate while we are declaring the data, it going to allocate the memory in the storage. Okay, we can be able to access the data. Okay, and next thing, we can be without accessing the data. Okay, after allocating the data, if the data is not reachable, okay, if data is unreachable means it automatically free up the data in the JavaScript. Okay, but see, if I have one code, okay, I have one function, I didn't call that function inside my file. Okay, inside that my JavaScript, I have two files. Okay, JavaScript JS and Java like module JS. Okay, I have two files, JavaScript JS and module JS. I didn't call the data, I didn't call the function inside my script.js. But inside the module JS, I import the data. Okay, That means inside the file, the data is not used, not allocated. Okay, what will be happen then? The data will be allocated or not? Or like, okay, if I have a const data, okay, I just export that. Okay, I just export the data. What is use of export? I sending other files. This data can be accessible by the module. Okay, by the module we can be able to access this. Okay, I just import the data in the another file. Okay, but that time if I am using means what happening there? Okay, here I just import the data. I didn't use here also. What will be happen? But in the JavaScript, it's if the data is not usable, then the memory will be deallocated. Okay. What is happening? Okay. In the C, like that low level languages, if other variables, like I am declaring that one value in the const, if I am declaring that variable in a string means it can't be not deallocated. Okay, if the value is declared by using the malloc means then only the data can be free up. Okay, okay, that is a garbage collection in the C. In the JavaScript, that will be executed like if I am going to single file script means if the data is once executed, after that no need of the data, no need of this data means it going to reallocate the data. The concept means that thing. Okay, if the data I need to declare the data. Okay, while declaring the data, it's going to create the space in the memory. After that declaring the data, I can be able to access the data. Okay, after accessing the data, if the code is going to unreachable means it can't be able to access the data. I need to free up the data. Okay, free up the memory allocation. That also can be executed in the JavaScript inbuilt. Okay, three things is happening. Okay, but here see, the second thing is common in all the languages, accessing the data. Okay, while the data is declared in the memory, in all the language we can be able to access the data. But while declaring the data, it's allocating the space in the memory is quite different comparing to others. But automatically deallocating the data. Okay, after the data execution, if the data is not reachable, if the data is going to the space for the data is going to deallocate. Okay, that is quite different in that JavaScript. Here, how it will be find that if I am going to access this data means how is find if JavaScript is find. By the reference. Okay, if I am calling the data reference, it's going to, the reference is on. Okay, if reference is like assume that the reference have a point. Okay, if the each reference have a one point. Okay, if the data has a one point means it assume okay this data is referenced. I can't able to touch that. Okay, here I reference the data. Okay, I reference the data by the export, and here I import the data, but I didn't touch that. Okay, how it will be deallocate means in other ways we can be deallocate by using that sweep and sweep and that how to say memory allocation points, like that we can be able to remove that data. But by using the ESLint, it don't allow to write that unused inputs. Okay, what is ESLint? ECMAScript errors. Okay, ECMAScript errors. Okay, by using the ESLint, we can be able to remove those things. Okay, we can see all of them in the garbage collections tomorrow. Okay, what is garbage collections? How it's handling the data, how it is reallocate the data. Okay, that things we can see that in the next class. Okay, now everyone show that project. It's an assignment. Just to show in your screen and explain which are the concepts you have used. That's it.